I hope everybody had an okay Monday. Things have been a little crazy around here. I'm excited to just take a few minutes and relax with my paint. Uh, as we get started here, feel free to have your camera off. You're welcome to keep it off. If you'd like to turn it on at the end to show everybody what you made, you're welcome to do that, but that's not a requirement. So hello, everyone. Today we're working on the creative challenge, which is the second lesson here, and I've got some samples. I'll show you in just a second what we're working on. You also have a printout if you want to follow along with that. You're welcome to pull that out, but that's optional as well. We're working on our brown stone today. I call it my giant M&M. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera over and get started. Does anybody have any questions before we begin? All right, so these are two samples, and I followed the same pattern for both of these, but you'll notice one of them is a little tighter, a little more scrunched up, and one of them, the dots are a little more expanded, and both ways are correct. So you can kind of play with your spacing a little bit if you want to. But a lot of what we're doing today is continuing just practicing dots. One of the main differences that we're going to do is in this particular design, we're going to be doing something called walking the dots. And so I have a spare piece of paper here, and I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. So walking the dots is most often done with the stylus, but it can also be done with the sticks as well. So I'll show you a sample of that. The last time that we dotted, we dipped into the paint each and every time. And for some of this, we are going to do that, but there's something called walking the dots, which creates these fun effects around the outside here. And what we do for that is we don't redip. So I'm using my large stylus, and I'm just going to use this to demonstrate. But if you don't redip, you'll notice as you move and continue dotting, the dots get smaller. So that's called walking the dots. And you can do it in a straight line, or you can do it in a curve as well. And so we're going to work with some of these curves today. And most of the time I see it done with these styluses, but you can do it with the sticks. And so I'll just show you what that looks like. It's a little harder with the sticks, just because you have to make sure you've got enough paint on there to continue dotting. Otherwise, you'll have to smush down and then you'll get that weird kind of like stamp print there, which you want to avoid. But that is a technique we're going to use today. And we're going to do that towards the middle and end of this rock that we're creating. So for right now, I'm just going to put my giant M&M on the screen here. Let's see if I can grab my wedge. I've got these wedges to make it not so weird on camera. All right. So on your giant M&M, I did pre-paint these this time around with the brown. Right in the middle, there's a little indentation. It might be hard to see on camera, but the mold, every mold has a little dot in the center. And that's where we're going to find our center. So you may have to get it, just in the light just right in order to see it. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our giant yellow stick and we're going to use our deep turquoise paint. Now remember, when you dip these sticks in, you want to go up over the edge. And you're going to find that little notch right in the middle of your M&M, and we're going to put one teal dot right in the center. And remember, while you're using the sticks, you just want to gently kiss the paint to the rock. You really don't want to touch the stick to the rock if you don't have to do that. You kind of want to smush the paint in between. And that's how we're going to find our center today. I've already made a mess of my hands. Doesn't take long. Right, and then the next step here is we are going to take our blue stylus, and I'm going to use the small end, and I'm going to dip into yellow paint. And so for this, we're going to find our cardinal points first. So I'm going to do my north point, redipping after each time, my south.
Excuse me, Tara.
Yeah,
Was that the big or the little part of the stylus? I didn't hear that.
I'm using the little part.
The little part. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
But if when we're dotting, you use the wrong side or the wrong size, just remember, as long as you keep it consistent all the way around, it'll look good. And then once I have my 4 cardinal points on there, I'm going to add 1 dot in between each section. So I'm going to end up with 8. Right now I've got 4. So in between these two, in between these two, in between these, and in between these. Once you get your 8 dots on there, go ahead and clean off your stylus. We're going to switch to the green on the large end. And I'm going to dip into my white paint. Remember, when you're using your styluses, you go up over the end of that ball so that you've got plenty of paint on there. And I'm going to add a white dot in between each one of these yellow. Sorry, I'm having some focus issues. I'm going to put something with words down here. My Michael's receipt. Don't anybody look at it and judge me. Sometimes, there we go, when my camera does not have words to look at, it does not like to focus. All right. That's a little better, I think. All right, the next 2 tools that I'm going to use, I'm going to continue with this in just a moment with the green on the large end, but for now I'm going to reach for my purple stick. And I'm going to use my light aqua. Make sure you've got plenty of paint on there. And I'm going to add a light aqua dot right next to my yellow. Now, again, you can stretch this pattern out or you can put it close. So right here, I've got these fairly close. Over here, I left a little bit of space. So it's up to you. I should leave these on camera. It's up to you how you decide to do that. I think today I might crunch it a little closer. So next to each yellow dot is where we're going. My second dot was a little bigger than my first, so that's why I'm adjusting that. And this month is all about kind of doing this by eye. And I can see right now that these two dots are not straight up and down from each other. And sometimes I just leave these things because, I'm human and I'm not going to be perfect like a computer. But I might try to fix this one. So this is just a wet baby wipe. So if you ever make a mistake, you can always use a little Q-tip or a little baby wipe. But I was not happy with my dot. Well, all right, then I'm going to go back to my green stylus with the large tip. And in between each one of these light aqua dots, I'm going to add one of the dark aqua dots.
Which side of the stylus
Oh.
are we using?
You startled me. Did you see me jump? I need to turn my volume down. Holy smokes. I'm using the large side of the green.
Thank you.
For the next step, I'm going to use the purple and the green stylus and stick again. This time with the purple, I'm going to dip into this light green paint, and I'm going to put a light green dot next to my little bitty dots. So I'm going to have the dark teal, and then I'm going to have the green right next to it. And as you work your way out, the tighter that you make your design, the closer it's going to be. For some of you, you may have to go down a size if you're working with the dots and you can see that they're just not going to fit, or you can leave more room and stretch them out more. It's totally your call. But I can follow the same design and the same pattern and come up with different results, just kind of depending on my mood and how close or far away I put everything.
Sarah, it's Candy.
Hey,
Sorry.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry I joined late.
That's okay. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, I was just watching and like you have these tight, but say you did the middle part tight, could you go further out in the outside part, like for a different pattern? Or do you like once you start small like that, should you stay?
No, you can change it. So, like on this one, I really left a lot of the dark from the background in there, and
Uh-huh.
I do like it a lot. It just gives it a different look. Like the one that I'm making today is just a lot tighter.
Okay.
So yeah, you can, make some close, some far away. You can adjust the pattern. Um, I mean, honestly, you can do the same pattern over and over and follow the exact same steps, and it looks so different just from the way that you change the spacing. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's no right or wrong.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, then after these green dots, I'm going to use my green stylus, that end, the big end, and I'm going to go into white, and in between each green dot, I'm just going to center a white dot. And so this one is next to the light aqua and in between the two green. So I'm going to keep the same two tools, the purple and the green, and I am going to go back to the purple. And for the next step, we've got an aqua dot, the white, so that we already have that. And then I'm going to add another aqua dot, and that's with our purple stick. Whatever reason, when I take my hands away, it gets so bright on my screen here. Last time I was dotting with the lights off. That felt kind of funny, so I was trying to keep the lights on today. All right, now we're going to try walking the dots. So once you get all of these aqua dots, I'm going to get my stylus out. Green stylus, the big end, and I'm going to dip into my light aqua paint, and we're going to walk the dots. So the way that we do that is you've got your large dot that you've made. I'm going to add 4, and I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm not going to redip after these dots. So when I go on to a new arm of it, I redip. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is one of my favorite techniques. And so we're going to do that for every ray. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, then I'm going to get my giant yellow stick, and I'm going to dip into yellow paint. And I'm going to add some great big dots in between these rays here. So on this sample, here's the ray, here's the ray. I've got this giant yellow dot right there. So now you'll see on this one, I got a smush mark. So if you don't have enough paint on your stick, that will happen where it kind of just looks messy. And I did that again. did not have enough paint. With these big sticks, you really have to dip them in there. Now for the next step, I am going to add a little swoosh. I'm going to show you how to do the swooshes. Um, and for that, I'm going to use my green stylus, white paint, and to make a swoosh, you add the paint the same way where it's over the end of the dot. So I'm going to make a dot there. Then I'm going to flip my stylus over to the clean end, and I'm just going to pull it. And it's going to give it kind of a swooshy look, which is why they're called swooshes.
Excuse me, Tara, do you start the dot with the big end and then pull with the small end?
Yes, you start the
Okay.
dot with the big end, and then I flip it over to the clean side, and I just give it a little pull.
Great, thank you.
And this is how a lot of daughters make their swooshes. I prefer to make my swooshes with the paintbrush. I've kind of started doing a technique with the paintbrush, and we'll learn that a little bit down the road as well. I think paintbrush swooshes ended up looking kind of cool. So next to each yellow, it's 2 dots, and it kind of just surrounds that big yellow dot. Swooshes for some people are really easy and for others can be really difficult. I feel like even though I've been dotting for quite a few years, I have not mastered the art of the swoosh. And I don't know if I'm just being hard on myself or if I just have difficulty with it. But swooshes can be kind of hard. All right, the next step, I'm going to continue with my green stylus and my purple. Next to each giant yellow dot, I'm going to use the large end of my green stylus and I'm going to add a light aqua dot. So it's going to be giant yellow, little aqua. Then I'm going to switch to the purple stick. I'm going to go with my dark teal. And it's going to be right next to the little dot we just did. So it's going to go yellow, aqua, and then our dark teal with the purple stick. Next, I'm going to switch to my green stylus, and we are going to walk the dots around the circle. So the last time we did that, we went in a straight line. This time we're going to go around this dark teal. So I'm going to start with my aqua. And so the first thing you do when you are going around the edge or around a circle is you're going to make your dot. So there's one, and then you just continue counting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can fit 6 in there. So I know on the other side I need 6. I'm going to start in the same place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm sorry, Tara, what's size, small or large on the tip? It is
Large.
large, okay, thank.
And so the thing to remember when you're going around is we're going to start in that same center spot both times. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you might not be able to fit 6 in there, and that's fine. Just make sure that on both sides you do the same number. And you'll see as I'm working through this design, just out of natural preference, I did the right side and then I did the left side. It doesn't matter which side you do first, whichever is more comfortable for your hand. So just take your time and go all the way around. We're going to repeat this process with the green and then with the yellow, the exact same process. Now, as I work outwards, I may be able to fit in more dots. Um, so for this next row, I'm just going to feel it out. Yeah, so for this one, I could add 7 because it's a little wider of an area. So I'm just going to make sure I do 7 on all of them. So once you go around all the way, walking your dots with the aqua and then the green, then the next step is the yellow. And it's the same thing. You might need to be able to add another set of dots. So for this one, I did 6, this I did 7. I might be able to do 8 here. Once you add these dots all the way around, we've got the aqua, the green, and the yellow. The next embellishment I'm going to do with my green stylus and the white paint, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to add a little crown of 3 at the end of each of these rays. And so I do that by adding the middle first with my green stylus, the big end. And then I'm going to redip each time, and I'm going to make a little triangle. So all 3 of these dots are the same size because I redipped every time. Stuck my finger in my paint. Has anybody else done that today? So yeah, I found out where I stuck my finger in the dots right over here. So the easiest way if you do something like that, I think, is just to let everything dry and then I can touch up with some of that brown paint. And this is our pattern. And then from here on out, after you get these little triangle designs at the end, everything else is top dots. So when we do top dots, you can absolutely change the way that you do them. Um, if you're not a yellow person, you can kind of cover up some of that yellow. Feel free to use whatever colors you want. The trick to top dots is whatever size you use. So for example, this one here in the center was a yellow. I'm going to go down a size. So you just want to make sure your top dot is smaller. So here in the center, I might do a white dot. But you can choose what colors and the placement of your top dots. The trick for top dots is you just want to make sure that your paint has a film over it. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but you do want it to be dry enough that it's got a little film. So I'm going to start adding my top dots, and I like to encourage everyone to add their own top dots in whatever colors and placement you want to do. You can even, if you have the patience for it, you can add top dots and let those dry and add even smaller triple dots. So you can have 3 instead of just 2. And some of the more complicated patterns and designs I've seen there, some people even add, 4 or 5 layers of top dots. So it just depends on how much patience you have and how much detail you want to add to your piece. I feel like I'm pretty happy with this pattern. So I'll put all three, see if I can get all three up on the screen. And you can see even just by following the same pattern, changing the spacing, they look very different. So don't be afraid to change up your design. You know, when I say, as long as you do it all the way around, it'll end up beautiful. That's what I mean. There's no right or wrong. You know, when I am instructing, I'm just telling you kind of the process I followed to get the sample. But certainly there are lots of different ways. I always say there's lots of different ways to make a sandwich. So you can get to a finished product that looks beautiful in a lot of different ways. So that is the end of the teaching part of today. If you are feeling brave and want to show what you've created, I'm going to remove the spotlight here. And if you want to turn on your camera, you're welcome to do that, and I'll spotlight your mandala. If not, I would love for you to share in the group.
Can you see mine, Tara?
I cannot see your video. Let's see.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness. Shut up. Say, Mom's bothering me.
That's okay. We can maybe we'll just share pictures in the, oh, there it is. There it goes. Move it up just a little bit.
Up?
Yep, there it is. Beautiful. Good job. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really nice to see everybody's pictures in the group this week. I really enjoyed seeing everybody's variations, and that really makes things fun. And I'm excited to see everybody's version. So when you finish, make sure you share in the group. That helps encourage others who might be feeling a little shy to share theirs as well. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much, everyone. Our next lesson will be next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. So let me know if you have any questions in the group. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Have a
Okay,
great
bye, Tara.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tara.
Good
Tara, I have
night.
a question real
Yeah.
quick.
Sure, no problem.
How do we sign up for next month?
It should
Is
be,
there a next month?
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll reach out to you as soon as we're done here, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Tara,
Yeah.
I thought it was an ongoing thing.
It is. It is.
Oh,
Candy.
okay.
There
But
were
do you
two.
have to sign up each month? I thought it was just like once you signed up, it was in until you left.
It is, Candy.
Okay.
Yeah, there were two people that signed up in the beginning because of my inexperience with the recurring program, that it's not recurring.
Oh,
And
gotcha. Okay.
Elizabeth is one of those people.
Gotcha. Thank
that's
I
you.
want to make sure I don't get kicked out.
No,
I
I
wanted to
won't.
make sure I didn't have to go do something.
No, it should be recurring. I'll reach out to you, Elizabeth, when we're done, and I'll let you know how to do that. There was one other person that happened to as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.